This week, Mass United Insurance's Line and Length comes to you from the land of the Amazon. We're in Guyana, where Barbados pulled off a stunning victory over the home team at the National Stadium in Providence. We'll talk with the captains of the two sides and watch some highlights. We take in the sights of the Amazon and also talk to two sons of the soil. It's all this week on a special edition of Massey United Insurance's Line and Length.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
I live cool, I live fresh, I live life without the stress. Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Cold. Feel the energy, feel the breeze, I feel like doing as I please. Relaxation comes with these, I live cool with Lima Cold.
Live cool with Lima Cold and feel the freshness of a breeze in a bottle. Lima Cold is trusted the world over and gives that easy, breezy Caribbean feel to all.
Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Cold.
Welcome back to Mass United Insurance's Line and Length. A tremendous victory for Barbados. They actually were able to defend 69 runs, and with two architects in the team, Ryan Hines, who batted so beautifully, and the captain, Carlos Brathwaite. Let me talk to you first, Carlos. How do you feel this morning when you only heard that 69 is what you had to defend?
Firstly, I want to say happy independence to the whole of Barbados. That victory is for you. Starting the day, we knew our backs were against the wall, but made no sense looking back on what happened for the past 3 days. We knew what we had to do. The original target was 150, anywhere between 150 and 175. We put all the efforts to try to get as close to that as possible. We only got 69. At the end of the day, that's what we had to defend. We knew what we had to defend. We knew we had to get 10 wickets, and we went out there and did that.
The experience of Ryan Hines, Dwayne Smith must have helped you a lot. How did you enjoy playing with these experienced guys, trying to stop the Guyanese from getting to 69?
It's always a pleasure to play with those guys. Two international cricketers, Ryan Hines holding the record for the most runs for Barbados at first class level. We've been asking the younger guys to take a leaf out of their book, practicing, asking them about batting. They've had to do something right to do what they have done, go where they have went and hold the records that they have. Dwayne Smith came today and put in a tremendous performance from ball one. He was on the money. Actually, I was going to replace myself with Ashley, and he begged me for it. He said, I want it, Skip, I want it, Skip. That is sort of stuff that these experienced guys are made of. That's why they're so valuable to this team, and that was a especially tremendous victory coming from the effort and hard work that Dwayne Smith put in against the odds.
We picked up that from the commentary box. Ryan, your first match back in a couple of seasons, and it was a very critical one. How does it feel to be back playing regional cricket?
First of all, I think it's an honour to be back. It's always an honour to represent Barbados. What I can say is that I thought it was a tremendous team effort. At no point in time, Captain Carlos Brathwaite was under any pressure. He just said, well, look, fellas, we have 69 to defend. Let's go out there and do it. And everybody put their hand up. Every single person. Even Jonathan Carrot, who came in and bowled an excellent spell. The feeling was tremendous. You know, I thought that Dwayne Smith, hats must goes off to Dwayne Smith. Like Carlos said earlier, you know, he was about to make a change, but he said, no, I want to bowl the ball. And that's the type of spirit we are looking for in the team. You know, it goes a way back. You know, we had a team huddle this morning. Unfortunately, we didn't get the 150 we were looking at, but nevertheless, I thought it was a tremendous effort, and hats must goes off to every single member of the team and management staff.
Ryan, you look at your batting. You did not look rusty at all, especially in that second innings. Not playing cricket professionally, what were you doing outside of not playing for Barbados to keep yourself going?
Well, I spent a lot of time in the gym. Unfortunately, I played some cricket in Dubai, but coming back, you know, we spent a lot of time working with the trainer Alex, who's done a fantastic job in terms of getting the guys fit. Batting these guys in the nets certainly kept me sharp and stuff like that. So it was really good. You know, the guys welcomed me back into the team, and that's fantastic. It made me feel as if they lost an important cog in the team, but nevertheless, I'm happy to be back.
Speaking with Vishal Singh, the captain of the Guyana team, you must be disappointed about not being able to pull off 69 to win.
Very disappointed. At the same time, we as a team going forward, I think we played 3 very good days of cricket, and we just had one very bad hour, and that's why we lost the game. I must give my team credit for doing most departments well, and except for that last hour. And we'll keep our head high going forward. We should still be up there in the table in the tournament.
You look back at the very first day, that partnership between Bishu and Bramble is what propelled you to the score of 261. Let's talk a bit about young Bramble. Your thoughts on him as a young keeper batsman?
Yeah, he's matured a lot lately. Last season he had a couple of very good scores for us, and this year he started batting good as well. So and that shows that we were playing as a team. I think we were 160 odd for 7 when that partnership came together. We have a lot of good signs in the team and a lot of positives going forward.
Where in the game did you think that you were not going to win it on this morning?
Not for one moment. I always thought we were going to win. I was backing my boys back down to the end, down to that last ball. So there was none of the time that I didn't think that we were going to. Up until that last wicket was out, I thought we was going to win the game.
Right, so you have 3 matches, you've played 3, lost 1, won 2. What's the momentum for the rest of the tournament? Because after next week, you're going to be playing a lot away next year.
Yes, 1 game in Trinidad, and then we have a break. Hopefully, the start of the tournament back, we'll have our 3 most senior players that are away from West Indies duty. So, that will bolster our team, and we'll be coming hard in the next phase of the tournament, regardless if it's away or home.
All right, all the best for the rest of the season, Vishal.
Thank you very much.
Critical bowling performance from you, Dwayne. You're playing regional first class 40 cricket again. First of all, how did that victory feel for you?
I would have to say this is one of the best I've been. This is 13 seasons now I've played, so it's one of the best I've seen in 13 seasons. The fight and the courage that some of the youngsters have in the team was brilliant as well, and I hope that they could learn from this and continue to go into other games in the same vein. I would say that, but for me personally, it's good. I get up every morning now and don't want to get here. I'm not enjoying it as much, but today I really enjoy it. But still have time to think, so I'll rethink it and see what I can go from there.
Now, Dwayne, I want to talk about what was just revealed. Ashley Nurse almost came on to ball at a critical stage in the match, but you wanted so badly to win this game that you said, no, look, Skip, I'll do it. And your bowling was absolutely brilliant. Are you enjoying your bowling again?
I've always been enjoying my bowling. I know I haven't been bowling that much of recent, but I've still been bowling for my club home, YMPC, so I always have my hopes up, so I always keep working on my bowling as well. So I know that this would have played a certain part in this game at some point in time, and it happened at the right time.
Barbados are fortunate to have you so early in the season. Are you still going to play in the Big Bash, or are you available for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think we have 1 more game, so I can play that, and then I'm off to the Big Bash. So I still have another game before I move off.
All right. When you look at Carlos Brathwaite and this young Barbados team, do you see them going on, if they continue to play like this, to win the tournament?
We can. I'm sure we have a chance now. If we can go on and play the same cricket, well, not the same cricket, but we play and put in better performances, scoring wise. I'm sure because Barbados always have a good bowling unit. So I'm sure that if the guys can put together the scores coming up in the other games, I'm sure that we can win this.
All right, great stuff from Dwayne. So Dwayne, one last thing before we go. You want to send any condolences to Phil Hughes? I know you might not have necessarily played with him, but it was an unfortunate international incident.
Yes, I did play with him in the first year of the Big Bash. It was New South Wales. But so it's a sad thing. Send my condolences to his family and all that, but he had a bright future ahead of him. But these things happen, and I'm sure that they would know that. But it was sad for me as well, playing with him and then to see him go at such a young age as well. But I guess it's things that happen, you can't do nothing about.
All right, great stuff from Dwayne Smith. That's Barbados pulling off a tremendous victory. We'll be right back on Master United Insurance's Line and Length.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
I live cool, I live fresh, I live life without the stress. Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Cold. Feel the energy, feel the breeze, I feel like doing as I please. Relaxation comes with these, I live cool with Lima Cold.
Live cool with Lima Cold and feel the freshness of a breeze in a bottle. Lima Cold is trusted the world over and gives that easy, breezy Caribbean feel to all.
Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Cold.
Welcome back to Mass United Insurance's Line and Length. Anytime you're in Guyana, always a pleasure to talk to Ramnaresh Sarwan. Ronnie, good to have you. You know, we were looking forward to having you play some regional cricket this year, but that didn't materialize. What really happened that you didn't play for the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force?
Obviously, like I said, it's because of personal reason. I think you're pretty much aware. It's something that I guess people would know about very soon. But like you rightfully said, I was looking forward to take part in the regional tournament as well, but unfortunately things came up and I needed to be in Guyana, so hopefully I'll be settled before the regional one-day tournament start and hopefully I'll be able to get an opportunity to play. Yeah,
that's actually on the 15th of January, that's starting in the Nagico Super 50. But are you still hungry, 34 years old, are you still hungry to play cricket, Ronnie?
Of course I am, but I think as we know in the Caribbean, when you get the third, it's pretty difficult to make a West Indies team, especially if you're being dropped. But I mean, you never say no. Of course, I'm going to try and work as hard as I can and hopefully score a lot of runs in the remaining tournament once elected, and we see where it goes from there.
I guess the short answer to that is that Ramnaresh Sarwan doesn't have any immediate plans of retiring then.
That's right.
Now, Ronnie, I want to wheel back a little bit because we had one of the most unfortunate incidents in cricket last week, where the death of Phil Hughes when he got struck by that bouncer, and unfortunately 2 days later he passed away. Let's go back to 2003. You didn't suffer that serious a blow like he did, but you did get, or you wouldn't be here, but you did get struck and you had to leave the field, you were semi-unconscious. Tell me about that experience related to what happened with Phil.
I mean, obviously I was hit very hard. I was knocked out cold basically, but then I kind of revived after a few seconds, but I was fully aware in terms of where I was and things like that. But I think the fact that I got hit so hard, it kind of left you in a bit of a shock, and obviously that showed when I dropped on the pitch. The fact that I went to the hospital and stuff and found out that I had a concussion, and obviously the doctor warned us not to go back out, but because he knew how dangerous it was. At that time I didn't really know, you're young and of course you just want to play. But it's not something you really want to see happening on a cricket field. Of course, the situation with Phil, I mean, that's shocking. You would never really think or it never crossed your mind that would actually happen in a cricket field. But it's also kind of sobering because, I mean, people, I think, kind of take the sport for granted when people get hit and the kind of sledging that transpires between teams and stuff like that. So I think it is sad to even think that it might kind of wake up quite a few teams, but for it to get to that stage, for people to think that kind of way. But at the end of the day, I mean, to be honest, it's just something that you wouldn't really think would happen on a cricket field. Of course, I feel for him and his family, and obviously my condolences to his family. Just a matter of them hanging strong, and just for a young man like that who started his career really well to kind of, not his career, but his life to end like that.
Now, you know, there are two immediate questions to that. The Australians are known for being very big sledgers. They're very aggressive. In fact, I remember Michael Clarke in the Ashes last year was telling Jimmy Anderson that the left-arm fast bowler Mitchell Johnson is going to run in and break his arm. Do you think the Aussies are going to tone down their sledging now based on what happened with Phil Hughes?
I don't know, but I think it's only the right thing. As speaking from another cricketer, just I would think or believe this would kind of bring people to some sort of reality that at the end of the day, it's just a game that's been played on the field. And I think verbal abuse and stuff like that, man, you never really kind of take it personal. But I think the verbal abuse might kind of level off a little bit, because I've been in a few before.
We all remember your little splat with Glenn McGrath.
Yeah, I've been in a few before, so I know what it is. And of course, I've seen other players react and stuff like that. But I think with an incident like this, I just think it needs to kind of calm that situation down. And I think it kind of opened everyone's eyes, not only the players, but I think also sort of fans, because I believe that a lot of people think we just go there and it's a bat and ball, and it happens very easily. I don't think they see the work that actually happens in the background, and of course, it's a risk. It's just like Formula One racing, where you have people doing 300 kilometers and stuff like that, and it's similar to someone born at 90, and you've got a split second to react to it.
Do you think that the ICC might want to change the rules now, because there's the 2 bouncers per batsman allowed? You think that they might soften even worse now to protect batsmen more from those short, nasty balls?
There is a possibility. I'm not sure they're going to. It's a very tricky situation, but I think the key to it is to try and have the right equipment. To think for someone to get a hit on the neck and kind of get that sort of reimbursed, I think it's very difficult. But it's just a freak accident. But I think it's more or less trying to get the right equipment. I'm sure they will find some sort of equipment to try and protect you all the way down here now. But like I've said, it's just crazy that it has to get to this extent to take those steps.
Now, Ronnie, two questions. One on regional cricket, one on the West Indies. Let's start with regional cricket first, since we're here in Guyana. The standard is not what it used to be. What can be done to really give some impetus into regional cricket and make it exciting again?
I might have to speak to you about 2 hours about this. We had this conversation a couple of days ago, but like I've said to you before, I think the key to it is developing your players. I think that is one area we've lacked in throughout the Caribbean. We need academies in every single territory, and obviously I think once you've got your players, you would be able to bring them through. I think we got to recognize that our players perform really well at under 19 and under 15 level. So there must be a reason why they're not coming through. And I strongly believe it's because we don't have the facility in place to help develop our own players to come through. And by the time you realize it, when you try to learn them, or teach them, I should say, on the job, it's too late. And that's why most of our players find it very hard at the starting of their career. And then they kind of accelerate a little later down, mid-20s, late as they get closer to 30. And if you don't perform in a couple of test matches, well, we know what happens. The selectors tend to get rid of you. But I think there's a lot to work that needs to be done, a lot of groundwork. It's just sad to see the state that cricket is in the whole Caribbean. And I think the fact that the local board tend to, or the local boards makes up the West Indies cricket board, kind of reflect. So I just think it's a matter of trying to get those areas correct, and everyone act as West Indies cricket board can act as one. And I also strongly believe you don't need a president in every region. You have one West Indies cricket board that govern
all the regions.
That's right, yeah. And then I also believe that you should have someone that looks over the West Indies cricket board, so they have to account too. I think when you're accounting to yourself, you can do whatever you want and just roll with the punches. But I think you've got someone who can look after you. Obviously, you have to give account to every single thing. And unfortunately, we don't have that system. But we're in a unique situation where we've got a president and our own prime minister in every country. So that's where I think CARICOM and stuff would have to come along with it and try and buy the whole idea. I think as long as we've got this president, that president from every other thing.
Too many bosses.
People are going to try and buy votes. I mean, it's happening, I can tell you. And once you have that sort of problem going on throughout the region, you will not have the best players, because it's not about cricket, it's about people being in position. And obviously, players are being picked and other players not being picked, not only because of performances, but because of other reasons.
The West Indies touring South Africa. Your thoughts on their chances in the 3 tests, 5 ODIs and 3 T20s?
I mean, you never say never to West Indies, but obviously I think South Africa is going to be a very tough tour. I think we've got players who have toured there before, and I'm pretty confident they're going to do well. I think the key to it is us batting well. We've got a pretty strong bowling attack. I think if we can score runs, pose a difficult challenge. But having said that, we know what the South African attackers they're pretty good at home, and of course they're pretty good at batting. So they usually play good cricket at home. But like I said, I think batting is going to be the key for us. If we can do that, I think we stand a good chance of competing really well and winning.
Final question, Ronnie. Do you think the players had every right to come back home from India? What was your thoughts on that October 17th debacle?
Well, I wasn't up to date with it until it got really serious or really situation where the guys had to come home. I mean, I strongly believe there's a solution to everything. And based on what I read and what I've heard of some of the guys saying, if it was a situation where you would try and solve the problem over there, and then when you get home, you try and deal with it. But I think if it's a situation where people feel they can lose 42 million rather than 3 million, I think it speaks for itself.
Always great to hear the thoughts of Ramnaresh Sarwan in his hometown of Guyana, right here on Mass United Insurance's Line and Length.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
I live cool, I live fresh, I live life without the stress. Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Cold. Feel the energy, feel the breeze, I feel like doing as I please. Relaxation comes with these, I live cool with Lima Cold.
Live cool with Lima Cold and feel the freshness of a breeze in a bottle. Lima Cold is trusted the world over and gives that easy, breezy Caribbean feel to all.
Every day I feel my best, I live cool with Lima Cold.
Well, joining us now on Mass United Insurance's Line and Length here in Ghana is Rion King, former West Indies and Ghana fast bowler, doing match official duties for the last 3 years. Rion, how have you been enjoying your new role?
Very much. I don't have to run up 30 yards and bowl. But I think it's a role that you would want to see a lot of cricketers who have played the game to come and give back to the game in that game. Umpiring and match officiating, I think, is something that we want to encourage people. So I'm hoping that having me here and doing it would encourage others to do so.
Now, Rion, I want to ask you this question in terms of regional cricket. The standard is not what it used to be when even you played, even before. What is your take on regional cricket and where is that right now?
I think, having this franchise system, I think that's a step in the right direction for the West Indies board. But that's one component. I think the players themselves have to match up to the professional standard or the professional style that the West Indies want to get. I think the players themselves, I think it has to be holistic. We're talking about groundsmen, we're talking about players, we're talking about the board. The whole administration of cricket has to be in that professional realm.
From a match official perspective, the pitches in the Caribbean have had a very hard knock, no pun intended. What is your take on the pitches in terms of not producing or not giving fast bowlers enough impetus into their bowling?
Well, I think it's a problem we complain about, not now. And yes, it definitely is a problem. I think what we need to see is a little more input from the teams of what they're looking for. Even here in Guyana. This is our main stadium, and it is, in my honest opinion, I don't think it's a type of wicket that you would want to see in international cricket. You're looking for a little more pace, a little more bounce. You're looking for wickets where you could have the batsman play his strokes, the fast bowler have a day or two, the spinners come in late to the match and stuff like that. You want everybody to have a fair bit of it. Certainly, education, groundsman education is something that we have to look at. Have the Andy Atkinsons, those fellows who have came to Guyana and did a wonderful job. You need to have more exchange programs, stuff like that.
When you played, was there much more pace in the pitch, not only in Ghana but around the region?
Well, generally yes. I must admit yes. I think Barbados has slightly got a little slower. Jamaica was once a very good track, and to be honest, it has lost a bit of its life, and we would want to see, that type of track and that type of services come back, even in Guyana here.
Now, I want to ask you about the standard and state of world cricket. It was thrown into mourning last week because of the death of Phil Hughes. He got struck by a bouncer by Sean Abbott. It's well documented what happened. Without going into too much about it, do you think that is going to change the face of how fast bowlers attack their opponents and batsmen?
For certain, it's unfortunate that that happened, and I think we all, as joined the cricketing fraternity and mourning this past. But I don't think there should be no changes to the game. I think again it's just an unfortunate incident that ended that way in a tragic way.
You don't think fast bowlers are going to want to tone it down? You don't think the Australians might sledge less now because one of their own was taken out in a most cruel and you would say unfortunate way?
Well, I think it's more unfortunate. I think cruel might be a bit harsh. I think it's more unfortunate. I think it was within the laws of the game. It's a bouncer, not that it was a beam or something like that. And even beamers are a part of the game, But again, I don't think so. Yes, they must feel a bit, saddened by it, and it will, some emotional pressure would be on them. Yeah.
Last question for you. When you look at the Guyana Jaguars last year, they finished at the bottom. This season, they have improved their game tremendously. What have they done different, you would say, in these 3 rounds so far?
I think one thing I've helped is that they play 3 home games and get used to one type of surface. Being at home, there's less pressure. Having the support of not really the crowds, but the people, your family here with you. So I think, and the cricket is a bit consistent. I don't think they've batted very well. Certainly Pomal has been bowling very good. He's been taking a lot of wickets, and we're seeing the type of Bishu we want to see. He's not back at his best, but we like to, he's getting there.
And why are there no crowds coming to watch cricket in Guyana?
I don't know.
Finally, I've been able to stump Rion King right here on Mass United Insurance's Line and Length. That's it for another edition of Mass United Insurance's Line and Length. Don't forget, you can reach us by email cricket@lineandlength.net, or you can also go on Twitter. Our handle is @lineandlength. We love to hear from you. Until next week then, I'm Barry Wilkinson. Bye-bye for now.